Never seen a smile so big on my little old lady's face until I tell her I'm going fishing all weekend. Pack up all of my bacon, I make plans for 7:45, and I swing around, pick up my date for the weekend. Some reason she seems to please when I'm leaving. There's something I'm missing when I'm gone fishing. When I'm gone fishing. When I'm gone fishing.
Yeah, baby.
Yes, sir. Well, good evening. I'm so glad that you guys showed up, all 12 of you so far. Unfortunately, things, when you're not at home, things are different. I'm sure you folks feel the same way. Couldn't get anything to work this morning. Tried to make a post, tried to advertise the show tonight, and Facebook just would not let me. All I got was the gerbil in the wheel for about 45 minutes. So I finally had to give up and head to work. As you can tell, the background's a little bit different. I am down in the Thorold area this week doing some work detail. But as I said, the show must go on, and I love seeing all of my CFNers join us, as Steve has done, Bill Allen has done, Richard has done. Eve, how you doing? Good to see you, Eve. Joe Moore's in the house, Barry and Sally. And, of course, I am wearing their jersey strictly because with all the stuff, the drama and what have you that's gone on with the fish off, and it was more than it needed to be. I don't want to get into the details of it, but needless to say, we have had some great support. Folks have reached out and given us some very positive comments, and I really appreciate that. And Barry and Sally, you folks, you wave the CFN flag just as hard as anybody. So to your honor, I am proud, as always, to wear the Backroads Adventure jersey. So keep it up, and we truly appreciate it, because it means the world. What we do sometimes can be, I don't know, a little bit thankless maybe, but we do it for our community, and we love doing it. So and have no intention of stopping. So we appreciate you, and we appreciate your positive support and continued support, loyalty, and it means the world to us. And what we do is exactly what is coming up, and this is a big deal. It's right around the corner. Our first official CFN Western Retreat, July 10th and 16th at Jan Lake Lodge. And if it's possible, I would like to be able to coordinate a live via either the lodge when the guys are there, the guys and gals are there, or even before, so we can get a prelim of what our CFNers are going to enjoy at Jan Lake. So that is going to be in the works, and we're really excited because, as I said, this is our first annual CFN Western Retreat, July 10th and 16th, and it's booked, it's full, and we're going to see some great pictures. We're going to see some great memories that are going to be shared with our CFN family. And speaking of CFN family, of course, our Horwood Lake 4th annual CFN Retreat is a go, and we're the numbers are actually quite good. Speaking to some folks in regards to how we are lining up, shaping up for this event, I do believe there's probably only about 10 spots that Richard Dunlop has informed me about. So if you've got a butt and you want to see it in a bed at Horwood Lake Lodge, please don't hesitate. Get there, and if you need a little bit of a kickstart, a little push off the fence, one last tire to kick, have a look at this. This might whet your appetite. And of course, last but not least, our CFN OFC Nation Retreat. This is the first of its kind. We'll be at Camp McIntosh in September. the Friday, September 23rd to Sunday, September 25th. Looking forward to that. And I know the numbers are quite good for this event as well. Again, if you need a little bit of a kickstart, a last tire to push, or a little shove off the fence, have a look at this. It may whet your appetite. So there it is, Friday, September 23rd to Sunday, September 25th. Get on it, book it. It's booking up. I don't believe there's a lot of spots left. And if Moose ends up asking his buddies, I doubt there'll be any spots left available once that is done. So we're hoping to see you there. And if you are looking to show your CFN swag at any of these events, please make sure you reach out to Fish Whipped Apparel. There is some great stuff available, and that is going to become available through Fish Whipped. We're really proud of some of the swag that we're starting to see. The boat flags have been ordered. The buffs have now come in, and we're just waiting on the hats. So these are all starting to line up. Make sure you make your order, place your order, and get it done so that you can wave our flag, wear our swag, and be a part of our community. And, of course, the sticker contest. I know Tony's been asking. We are one person away. I want to give this away to one of our CFN winners, part of our community, who have purchased a sticker pack. Sticker packs, as I said, if you want to find out more, please just reach out to me, PM me, and we'll get you on the list. But as soon as we have 5 of our community purchasing an individual sticker pack, you will be placed on a wheel. We will spin it. We will find out who takes one of these incredible products home. And we are going to have Bruce Tufts on with Big Jim one Thursday or Friday night to discuss what went in to making this product and why you should use it. Speaking of Jim, he's coming up next right after a word from our sponsor. There he is, the one and only reeling in a fish. Looking dapper, looking in like he's in charge. You got a smile on your face tonight. I love it, brother. I love it. I love it.
I always got a smile on my face. I'll have a much bigger smile on it in a couple of weeks, I think.
Tell us a little bit about what's going on in the Just Fishing family.
Well, I said it'd be out by the end of June, and even with a wounded counterpart here, It's almost done.
Attaboy. That's
We
fantastic.
we put good-looking guy like me on the cover.
You know what? I was just going to say, Jim, you know, you're a modest lad,
Yeah.
and I haven't seen you on the front cover very often of your own magazine, but
Well,
it's nice.
you know what? It's really funny. The only reason we ever used to put me on the cover, you know, there are better-looking fishermen out there. Not many. We had used them up, but at the sports shows, it was really easy to pick something up to put an autograph on.
Yes.
That was I would sometimes I would autograph it a day like 50 or 75 of them, right? But we got me on the cover. We got Mr. Sarek here
Yeah.
with muskies. We got
Is that Gord down the corner?
we got Greg Emile here, Captain.
Yeah, that's
Greg,
okay. Okay.
and the man.
Mr. Linder. Mr.
I was
Al.
bugging a guy last week because he kept posting about all these Al Linder videos and he's spelling his name Linder. And I said, well, who's this guy you're talking about? And he would say, Linder. I don't know who is that guy. I said, there's the other guy that fishes called Linder. And then he eventually picked up on it, and I got a handful of choice words from him.
That's awesome. Well, you know what, Jim, with the opening theme to your segment, it always gets us going. And now with bass officially open pretty much all across Canada, I don't know of any species of fish actually that are still closed. It's awesome to now finally do what we all love to do, which is fish. And with all of the species now, pretty much open, they're all available. Is it hard to jump back and forth from species, or at this stage, would you be just focusing in on bass, or how would it work for you?
Yeah, well, it's all bass now. In the beginning, it wasn't. Like I started off fishing for walleyes.
Yeah.
Like back trolling with Lindy rigs with splash guards and everything.
Yeah.
And then, like somebody told me, well, you get your picture in the paper if you catch muskies. So we started fishing for muskies. And then, somebody told me you could win money if you fished in bass tournaments. So we started fishing in bass tournaments. So somehow here I am.
Wow. And you know what? Yes.
But I love them all. When I guided, we could be out fishing for walleyes and it'd be like 11 o'clock and I would say, look, I want to put the boat on the trailer and go somewhere else. Are you with me? And we'd go fish for bass somewhere else and they would catch 30 or 40 bass and be ecstatic.
And that's the true passion. That's the true passion of angling. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter what you catch as long as you're out on the water and fishing. That's what it's all about.
Well, that's how I got into enjoying panfish so much. People see me out drifting around in the middle of the big Rito, like 300 yards offshore, and they think you're out there looking for lake trout or smallmouth. I'm out there looking for pumpkin seeds. But pumpkin seeds that are like this.
Wow.
It's what I tell people. They don't realize that, when you start, well, look at a sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So we've got lots of pumpkin seeds that are 11 inches long. So that's the size of the sheet of paper. You know what I'm saying?
I have to ask, Jim, do you see more pumpkin seed being caught now or before? Like yesterday?
Now, yeah, for sure, buddy.
Yeah.
People, they wouldn't fish for them. They had to catch them and throw them on the shore, I mean, you're already seeing panfish populations get hurt. I mean, like when I started off doing this, there was no limits on crappies, or you could take whatever you wanted,
Yeah.
And we've discussed that word limit a lot. It's not a good word.
And I think, we probably in future episodes can speak a little bit more about it and get a little bit more of those influential folks on here talking exactly about that. One, of course, that hits home to me every time I watch it is Gord Pizer. He did that podcast, and I forget the name of the podcast, but you could just tell, Jim, the urgency in his voice that, limits are not what we should be attaining every time we go out fishing. We shouldn't be hitting our limits. And you could just tell based on what is going on up in the Lake of the Woods that there's a true concern. And Gord, as much as he is all about fishing, you could sort of sense a pumping of the brakes, like, whoa, let's think about this for a second. And I love that. I love that about that man.
He's a great guy. He has really good insight too. People need to listen to him more. That's because of his background in science, And like we've often talked about this, the nice thing about science is that even if you don't agree with it, it's true.
100%.
And that's the way it is. So I got to tell you something funny happened. A buddy of mine says to me, "Lend me a Stella. Lend me a Stella." So I says to him, "Okay." I said, so I got one. I had it in the office here, and the door is pretty close. That's why we keep it locked all the time. And he says to me, he calls me and he says, "About your house, how long are you going to be?" I said 2 o'clock. It's like 12:15. So I says to him, so I told him where the spare key was. He's like a lifelong friend, right? So he took him 15 minutes to find the key. So he finds the key. He comes in. He grabs the reel off my desk, goes out, locks the door, puts the key back, and he phones me the next day and he says, "I can't believe how nice this reel is." He said, "I could never afford to pay $899 or $1,000 for a reel." But he says, "I can't believe how nice it is, how smooth it is." And he said, "Is this a new one?" He said, "Because you don't even have line on it yet." And I said to him, "Yeah, there's line on it." And he says to me, "No, not the one that I have doesn't." And I said, "Well, I don't have that many of them or whatever, right?" And then he says to me, "Well, this isn't this," and I could just picture him, like, "This isn't a Stella." And he had picked up off my desk another reel that I was going to spool up for myself. And look what it was.
Are you serious? A Sedona? What?
That was sitting on my desk, and he was that impressed.
Well,
this is the whole thing with Shimano now with the stuff that they have.
Yeah.
And the way of making things. It's not just those top-end reels that feel like that, because they drop it back down through after they introduce it, eh?
It's interesting you say that. I was having a conversation with Richard Dunlop, who unfortunately his symmetry combo saw better days, and he snapped. He actually snapped it right where the combo goes together. But that's another story. But he loves it. He absolutely loves it. He's disappointed because he truly loves that combo, and unfortunately can't fish with it. But he has reached out to Shimano and. Hopefully we can fix that and rectify that situation. But needless,
they'll find something for him if they can. If he's had it for a long time, obviously it wouldn't be a warranty deal.
Yeah,
because you don't fish with a reel for 4 or 5 years and then have it break, and when it breaks.
But to his point and to what you just said, it speaks volumes when it comes to Shimano and the amount of technology that they put even in their entry level. Equipment. It's just as good as some of the high end stuff. And as you pointed out, it's
undeniable.
Yeah,
you can't argue with it. So it's cool. So, anyways, I guess the other thing that I'm working on is moving.
Yes.
Obviously, we've eventually discovered that this has, especially since Tammy had the aneurysm.
Yeah.
This house is just awful big for her, right? Like it's like 4,000 square feet. And, when we had 9 grandkids here, little ones all the time and staying over, and, it was big gym fest. It was like, it was a circus. I'm almost happy some of them moved away. We're joking about that. One of the little ones, she says to me, I said it's a good thing you guys moved away, because now when I get to see it, it's better, because you used to be here every day.
Well, Jim,
you like me best though, eh, Papa? I said, you like me best, eh?
One thing I will say about you and your wife is your door is always open. And it's a good thing that you have or have had a big house because you guys are so welcoming, and you needed the room. But it's great to hear you're downsizing. Of course, this is the time to do it if you're going to do it. And
it's cooled off a little bit. Like the guy that I've got is he does the St. Lawrence Seaway. He sells $5 and $10 million houses all the time. And he told me, he said the thing that's going on in his perception and experience is that people haven't stopped selling their houses. There's nobody left that wants to sell their house. And that's, if you think about that, with all the house selling that went on, You know, he sold more houses in 26 months, I think he said, than the previous 72.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Incredible.
So, anyways, I already started going to the dump. We got to get a dumpster. We're going to get rid of a lot of stuff and everything else that, just crap that you've collected and moved a couple of times over your life. I brought a load to the dump today. I brought a load last week. Just sorting things out takes a lot of time. And you look at something and you say, can I garage sale this? Probably not. I've had it for how long? 22 years. Have I ever used it? Did I know it was here? No.
So, just to jump in, just in case anybody wanted to maybe go and see some of these artifacts, where exactly is this museum slash dump located? I'm just kidding.
We got to get rid of it. It's gone.
Steve Shaw posted a message here about Shimano's World Minnow and the damage that he did catching bass on the weekend and some pike. Some white. I recommend it for anyone's tackle box. Tell us a little bit more about why this is so revolutionary and why.
Well, hang on. Well, I'll talk. It's because of what they've done with it.
Yeah, there's so many different lines.
There's electric lures out there. There's all kinds of stuff out there. But I mean, here I don't even have to take them out of the box. I mean, I just hold them and look at them.
Wow. Yeah.
Like you can see through the crankbait here.
Wow.
You can see them shaking like they don't. I'm not sitting going like this. I tell people, hold it still, hold it still.
Wow.
And that's what it is. Now you get into murkier water. Who knows? Maybe on a real crystal clear day out in Lake Ontario, that bait's just sitting there and a big smallmouth comes gunning up and stops and looks at it, and he sees that little flash and he drills it. One of our Shimano guys there, Alex Davis, he guides on Guntersville down in the States, and he's Alabama. He's been crushing fish with that. But he went out the first day. They got a 10-8 the first day guiding with it.
Oh,
like one of the first casts they ever took with it as a guide. Giving it to a client. The guy got a 10-8. But he's been crushing them on the World Pop, which is the top water popper, has the same technology in it, and they have the World Crank, the crankbaits with the same technology. And then all the other stuff that they brought out in the family are all the crankbaits are all called Macbeth. But see, you can see that thing. I'm just holding it.
Oh yeah. No, it just screams at you. And if I'm a fish, I'd be screaming back, or at least screaming towards it.
But all these ones don't have it, like the ones the crankbaits.
Yeah.
That's the Macbeth though. That's not the World Series.
So Jeanette is asking a question that I've actually had posed to me a couple times in regards to they're selling out in a lot of stores. Yep. They're not available. Is there anywhere online that you would suggest?
Try. I know there's a bunch on the wall at Gagnon Sports right now. Pro Advantage in Belleville, Peterborough Pro Tackle. Where else? Natural Sports would probably have some over in Kitchener. Any of those places, I'm sure, if you check online, you should be able to. To do it. Another thing you can do is Google it. Wherever you are, it'll come up and show you the three closest stores to find the product. That's something that Shimano does. Now, the stores might be, 300 miles away in case you're not in an area that sells, stuff that would be related to bass fishing, So it's pretty cool. But yeah, no, there's going to be a lot of long days coming up here.
Yeah. Well, listen, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. I know you're busy. I know you're tired. You've got a lot of phone calls, I'm sure, that are hoping to come in. But as I said, it means the world to see you each Monday, Jim. And
the big thing is that there was no offers.
Wow.
It's overpriced. So it's it's one of those things. The fact that they had no offers and we were ready to make one, and
well, that's
you know where everything is. I've talked to them, told them you wanted so bad to make an offer on the home that it really makes you happy.
Yeah,
and it does. It does.
Yeah,
it's a bungalow. It's just perfect for us now.
Well, I've got a great feeling that it's going to fall through for you, and you're going to be able to jump in that house and continue to empty the rest of the McLaughlin Museum at that, secret dump location. I know Barry's
guys over there tonight.
Barry's about to hook up the trailer and head down from Timmins to see if he can get anything.
Bring the big one. Bring the big dump cart.
You take care, Jim.
Okay, guys.
Good luck. Hope everything works out for
Catch
you.
some fish. I'm probably going to head out with Chong this Friday.
Nice.
So hopefully I get out and smack a few on the big Rito with him.
Okay, buddy. You take care. All the
It's all
best.
good, people.
Be safe.
Take care.
Peace. And up next, of course, is Lawrence Gunther, right after a word from our sponsors.
When it comes to Canadian food, we've got your back with flavors like lemon pepper, beer batter, campfire barbecue, lemon pepper dill, garlic butter and chives, and crispy Cajun. We've got a mix for every meal. Whether you're serving East Coast shrimp, West Coast salmon, succulent walleye, chicken wings, or veggies, we've got you covered. Coat your food in outdoor flavors. Available online or at these fine retailers.
There he is, Lawrence Gunther. How are you doing tonight, Lawrence?
I'm good, buddy. I'm good. Thanks for letting me take last Monday off. My son was playing in his baseball. His team made it to the playoffs. They got disqualified eventually, but it's still fun. I love going to the games.
Well, that's what it is, and enjoy it while you can, because soon it's over. And I'll tell you, I was watching the Stanley Cup last night, and there's a few players that my sons played with, and you know what? It was a proud moment to see them on that stage, and unfortunately, a couple of them didn't win. But it was just neat to know that they've shared the ice with some of these players. But
it's
cool.
You see them growing up in the sport, right? It's amazing. Life goes by, and then next thing you know, they're standing there with the Stanley Cup. Speaking of Stanley Cups, I got a bit of some news highlights here from the Bluefish News that just came out today. You can find that at bluefishcanada.ca. But here's a few little highlights for you, Scottie.
Yeah, baby.
So, largest freshwater fish ever caught in the world was just caught. Any guesses?
I would have to say it was a sturgeon.
No, sturgeon don't qualify. Because they can swim in and out of the salt water, right? So they don't qualify as freshwater fish.
Then I would have to say it would be either a muskie or a lake trout.
It's not a Canadian fish. I should have given you a little hint. It was a giant stingray, 300 kilos, caught in the Mekong River in Cambodia. 300 kilo stingray. That would be equivalent to pulling a barn door up from the bottom of the river, right? Can you imagine?
Holy smokes.
I know. Two guys caught.
I was going to say there's no way one angler was able to haul that in.
No. Apparently these things, they just literally hunker down on the bottom when you got them, and then you just got to leverage them off the bottom. It's quite the ordeal.
And please tell me it was caught on a Shimano product.
some like this new Conquest. I just finally got this in the mail. Now I've been waiting for this puppy, and I love this reel for two reasons. One is, listen to this. You hear that?
Yeah.
That's a clicking drag. When have you seen a clicking drag on any bait caster, low profile or round? This is new, right? This is new. People want to hear the drag. They call it excite drag. So when you got a fish on and it's pulling drag, you can hear it going out, right? The other thing I like about this reel is when you're letting line out, casting or trolling, and the line's coming out, you see the line guide there?
Yeah.
It's moving across, right? So what this means is when you've got a big fish pulling line out, and the line guide lines up with the line the way it's laid on the spool. So that's not coming through the guide and then doing a big zig and then going to the spool, which can cause this line guide to snap off when you're playing huge muskie. So, that happens, right? You get a muskie and the line guide is out of alignment with the way the line is lying on the spool. This way, the line guide, when you're reeling it in and when you're letting it out, it just constantly lines up. So whether it's a drag or a cast, but why I like it is when I'm letting line out trolling, I count this line guide going back and forth as I'm letting line out. I know every time once back and forth, that's 10 feet out. So if I want to put 50 feet out, I just let that go back and forth 5 times.
And if
So,
anyone isn't aware, of course, Lawrence has a vision disability, and I've often wondered how you knew how much line to let out, and you just answered that question.
that the 4,000, the 400D Calcutta does the same thing. It's just it's a lot cheaper than this one. But I told my wife I had to get this one, so she let me.
Well, that girl, we truly appreciate you for that. And Barry has done the math. Look at the brains on Bear. 661 pounds.
Yeah.
Fish would have weighed.
Biggest freshwater fish. I thought I like you thought sturgeon, right? You catch them up in the Fraser River, but
Yeah.
they swim out in the ocean and then they go down in the Columbia and up the Snake. So they're moving back and forth. They've known this because they've tagged them now. They just figured this out in the last 10 years or so.
Now,
Okay,
the Nile perch.
Mhm.
The Nile perch, is that a fish that is both freshwater and saltwater, or is that strictly a freshwater fish? Because
Good question, but I don't know if they get up to 600 pounds. Do they?
No, that's true. They do get big, but yes,
Yeah.
661-pound fish.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I can't. And of course, like you said, it's a barn door. It's like lifting up
Yeah.
the side of a ship off the bottom. Holy smokes!
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, here's another news item.
Yep.
So, okay, it's Shark Week, right? So, we know Nova Scotia is considered maybe, great white capital of the world now in terms of its attraction to great white sharks. And it's because of the seal population, millions of seals, hanging out on the beaches in Nova Scotia. Great whites have figured it out. But you would think that, busy shorelines, near downtown locations, sharks would avoid that, like predators. They avoid the people, the smell, the stink, all the noise that we make and the garbage we put into. Turns out that's not the case. These sharks are like city skunks and raccoons, man. They come closer to the beach in these high density urban environments. They figured this out. So if you think, so if you next time you're in Miami or Los Angeles or one of these other high density areas and you're just hanging out playing on the beach, they come in close. So something to think about.
And thankfully, Shark Week and the Discovery Channel do what they do for us.
Yeah.
Who are fascinated by the fish, but would never want to be on the wrong end. Am I the only one that watches these little videos that they, of these close encounters, spear fishermen that are, spearing a fish, and then all of a sudden a great white comes out of nowhere? Like, I don't even want to go swimming, never mind have a shower after seeing some of those videos. I'm enamored by them. Yeah. I'm just in awe with those fish, but I'm scared to death of them at the same time.
Happened to my buddy last fall. He was scuba diving just out of Halifax Harbor, and a great white went past him 3 times, and then he had to swim through 10 meters of sort of disturbed, sort of cloudy water to get to the surface. He was down 100 feet, and he thought during that last 10 meters, man, he thought that his clock is ticked off, But anyways, him and his cameraman, they made it back into the boat, but he was shook. He was shaken up. He was pretty shaken up.
Look at Richard. Holy jump. We're Googling at the same time as we're watching the program. On December 20th, 2000, California angler William Toth landed the heaviest Nile perch ever recorded on a rod and reel. It was 104 kilograms, 230 pounds. Fish that crushed the Rapala fire tire was trolling in Egypt's famous Lake Nazar.
Wow. I'd love to catch one. Apparently there's not as many anymore. They've been caught commercially and sold, right? So, they put those Nile perch into the Lake Victoria in Africa because they thought it would, add some commercial value, but they ate everything and then they got eaten themselves. So yeah, it's on the downward curve there. Let's see what else we got in the news here. Okay, yeah. So the Waddington St. Lawrence River near Cornwall was the site of the Northeast Regional Bassmaster regional competitions, and a team from Ontario-based nation came in second.
Yeah,
that's good, but I don't know if it's good enough to get to the next level. I'm not sure, but if anyone knows, let us know. But they came. I just checked on that late yesterday. They came in second, but that's still pretty good, man. This is not just, this is all of northeastern United States and Ontario, so that's pretty good.
100%. And we got some great news about Alicia Ritrowski, who represented our community and all the communities that she represents very, very well in a recent outing too. And I just thought it was absolutely awesome that she represented herself very, very well. Probably would have liked to have done better, but to me, just having her invited to that tournament was the Hall of Fame moment in itself. But she wants to do better. I know she's hungry to do better, and we salute her and hope the best in future tournaments for her.
What a great classy angler, eh? She's just
absolutely.
Absolutely. Okay, what do we got next here? Oh yeah, so okay, aquaculture, right? Open pen fish farming. We know it's been causing all sorts of chaos for the wild salmon on the West Coast. The federal government has just committed that 2 years those pens have to be out on the West Coast. Well, I'm not sure what they're going to do on the East Coast. You would think they'd have some sort of common strategy, but no word on that. But a lot of conservationists, a lot of pro wild fish people on the West Coast are pretty happy about that.
Pretty happy.
Oh yeah.
Well, they should be. They're probably doing backflips. This is huge news.
Oh yeah, Alexandra Morton. She's been fighting this for 20 years, 25 years. She's been a guest on Bluefish Radio. She's given up her entire life for this cause. Her entire life, her friends, her family, her income, her job, everything to fight this, and she's feeling pretty happy. So
she's like, and I would imagine this huge gorilla that's been on her shoulder has now walked off to somewhere else. But holy hell, that's a huge win, not only for the salmon, but at the anglers of BC, but of course all the stakeholders, like you said, that have been fighting this for I don't know how long. You said 20 years.
Oh yeah,
it seems longer actually.
Yeah, it's been going on for a while. Well, the big inquiry was in 2012, right?
Yeah.
The big commission that looked into all this.
Yeah,
and so it's and recommended these things get shut down. Put it on land. Get it out of the ocean. So
this is huge, and hopefully now when we do put it on land, and I know we're going to treat the water, we're going to do a better job than we have been. That's awesome news. What that great news. Holy crap.
Oh yeah. It's good news. I'm happy to be able to share that. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, here's something for the ladies. There's a Shimano scholarship for $2,500 American. If you're a member of BASS, right, like the Ontario Bass Nation, and you're going to college and you want to study fish biology, you can apply to get this $2,500 scholarship from Shimano and BASS. They're doing this together, and it's in recognition of the woman who has been the longest employee of Masters, BASS, and then ended up owning the whole thing and being the CEO of the whole thing and grew it from nothing into the mega thing that it is now, right? So this is pretty cool.
Very, very cool.
Helen Sevier. The scholarship's named after Helen Sevier. So, ladies, there are some huge shoes to fill out there from other women that have cleared the path, and now some money to go along with it.
Fantastic! Holy smokes! Great news. You're a wealth of great news tonight, Morris.
Well, we got a few stinkers coming up, but not this one. Right. This is about pontoon boats. I'm not a big fan of them, but apparently fishing pontoon boats are getting more and more popular. So it's not just booze cruises anymore, right? Get off the dock, get on the boat, roll back on the dock kind of thing. Now they're more and more, these things are getting kitted up for fishing and specific species of fishing, and they're getting popular. They're getting more popular. So who knows? Maybe there's a pontoon boat in your future or mine someday, my friend. Who knows?
I will say this. They are popular on Horwood, and for our upcoming 4th annual CFN retreat, they do get used a lot. And for the best reason is you can jam a lot of people on them and share in some great fishing with a lot of your friends. So they are a floating living room on a lake. The comforts, they're endless. You see some that have twin 300s on the back. these things have really evolved. Pontoon boats have evolved, so I'm not the least bit surprised that they are now becoming species specific.
Yeah. And they're getting them under control a bit too. Like my biggest problem with pontoon boats is the wind. There's so much of the boat sitting above the water, they just become sailboats, and they're really hard to control in the wind. And we've had a lot of wind, and the wind is becoming more and more incredible. I mean, I was out in the Ottawa River last week, and we have 50-kilometer-hour gusts, man. That's pretty tough. It's not so bad on the river, but it's when you're trying to get the boat back onto the trailer, right? That's when things start going snaky on you.
Holy jumping 50. You were out there in the
we were doing fine. Although my trolling motor popped the circuit breaker at some point, we heading into the wind and the current at 10, the top speed on the trolling motor. You can only do that for so long, apparently, before the circuit breaker clicks off on you. So I reset it before pretty fast enough. We got back on power, but just getting the boat back on the trailer, and there was no dock at this launch. So we had to, ground the boat on the launch, get the trailer in. I'm holding the boat, trying to keep it from swinging around. Didn't have a whole lot of luck, but there was no damage. Thank goodness, there was no damage. So, but that was
fishing extremes, eh? Okay, it's not enough that you have a vision disability, but you like to take. Oh, you are a gem, I'll tell you.
Maybe I don't see it coming. And maybe I live in oblivion. Maybe that's it.
Now, you said you might have some unfortunate news you want to share too?
Yeah, it's coming. Okay, so I promised I'd follow up on the muskie situation in Gananoque on the St. Lawrence River, and sure enough, they are saying that there's been an unusual amount of dead muskies that floated up after the winter melt, and they're asking that if you're fishing on the New York side, you report them to the Thousand Islands Biological Research Station, and if you're on the Canadian side and you see it, and they really want you to take the dead muskie in and bring it in and just let them know, and they'll come and collect it. They really want to have do biopsies on these fish. So on the Canadian side, you want to go to so you can't contact the Gananoque Muskies chapter if you get one, and they'll make arrangements to pick it up from you.
So if you're in the Canadian waters and you see a muskie that it's floating, contact the Gananoque Muskies Canada chapter, and they'll tell you how. Okay, and
keep the fish. Keep the fish. Don't let it go. Put it through. Shove it in a garbage bag or something. Put it on ice and just hang on to it. I know it's a bit of a mess, but do it for science. Do it for the fish. And we've got to find out what's going on here. Is there a virus? What's happening?
And I'll ask this only because I have not been able to read up on a lot of this news. I did hear about this, but are other species also floating, or is it
don't seem to be? It's just the large muskie. The walleye don't seem to be having trouble. Like the walleye can eat these round gobies, and they're not getting the virus. It's not getting, but they're getting it from these round gobies. The round gobies get it from the mussels. They eat a lot of mussels, right? The zebra mussels, and then they become sort of hosts for this virus. It doesn't kill, and the gobies don't care. They don't try to develop any sort of immunity to the virus because they breed so often. They put all of their energy into breeding, not into fighting viruses. So if they die after half a month or 6 months, they don't care. They've bred already twice at that point. So all their energy is going into breeding, not virus fighting, but they're really just little hot popsicles of virus. And the muskie are eating these 12-inch, 14-inch gobies in the St. Lawrence. They're getting that big now, and those are real treats for the muskie. But but they're getting the virus along with it, right? So
thanks to Steve, who just posted the link to the Gananoque chapter of Muskies Canada. If you are out in that area and you do find a floating muskie that is dead, clearly dead, we encourage you to reach out to the chapter, and they will let you know what to do with it. But as Lawrence just mentioned, make sure you put it in a plastic bag, and if you have room in your freezer, throw it in there to keep it. I hate to say this, but keep it fresh.
Yeah,
it's not.
But you could become the morgue for the scientists.
Yeah.
And it's not a lot to ask. Even just keep it in your live well and just pour some ice in there, and at least you'll have it anyways.
Well, it's interesting. You talk about Golby, and yes, absolutely, Mitch. 8 inches. That's hard to believe that they're that big. But to Corey's point here, the white sturgeon eat the zebra mussels. It's not affecting the white sturgeon in the Columbia River, but I know a lot of folks were concerned with this. That when they do eat these mussels, and let's be honest, they're filters of a lot of the pollution that is going on in our Great Lakes. That we were concerned that perhaps they would be passing on something that like this, like an infection, like a virus, especially the quagga mussels, because they seem to be a little bit more on the toxic side of or toxicity side of things when it comes to these mussels. But, unfortunately, it sounds like our beloved muskie are succumbing to this virus.
Sensitive, eh? Sensitive, and why is that? You think the biggest fish would be the tough guys, right? But sometimes those tough big fellas are a little easier ones to knock down. Yeah, who knows, right?
You hit the nail on the head, and you spoke about Shark Week and the great white. As I said to many people who don't know, the amount of mercury that is inside the fat tissue of these shark is just staggering. If you were to put that amount of mercury that they are housing into a human being, they'd be dead within days, from what I understand.
Bluefin tuna, same thing. Swordfish, same thing. They're all carrying around a lot of mercury in them.
So you're right. We get this misconception that these top predators and top of the food chain anyway are immortal, and unfortunately they are not. And the muskie are proving to us how fragile a fishery can be.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, here, okay. I got 2 left. Okay, here's Happy Canada Day, Outdoor Canada Magazine. Renew your subscription or take out a subscription for $20 for a year. Now it comes out every 2 weeks, and then they got every 2 months. So you get six print editions for $20. That's a pretty sweet deal, man. Delivered to your home.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's a Canadian fishing magazine. We need to support those, those guys, those writers, the editors, the whole thing. If we don't support them, we just surf the internet all the time. We'll lose those, treasured resources. We can't afford to lose those.
No, 100%.
That's where Gord Pizer makes most of his money, right? Writing for Outdoor Canada.
100%. And yeah, it is a great publication. We are proud to have it as one of our most popular Canadian publications that are out there, and it is a wealth of knowledge. Whatever we don't touch here with Lawrence gets posted on Outdoor Canada. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, they've been carrying my podcast for years. The Bluefish Radio is the official podcast of Outdoor Canada, so I'm very happy to have that.
That's awesome, dude.
And every so often they trap me into writing an article for peanuts. No, I'm kidding, not peanuts. But tell you, if you want to make a living as a writer, good luck to you. You got to be able to write a lot of articles if you want to make a living, because one article ain't gonna pay the rent.
Amen. And Barry has a question of our last topic that you just touched on. In regards to the great whites and the bluefin tuna and other top predators in the oceans, perhaps maybe even the Great Lakes, where does all this mercury come from? It's a great question.
There's a lot of it's natural, right? It's just decomposing plant matter, shorelines, things washing down the rivers. And so there's the natural mercury, and then there's the sort of man-made mercury, and they're not quite the same. One's more toxic than the other, but so that's why it's not killing these fish. They bioaccumulate it. It's mainly in the fat, I guess, and it's safe there. But if they do become stressed and they have, say, a food shortage, like everyone, right? We metabolize our own fat back into our system. It's a storage tank there for our food. And that's what fat's meant for, keep us warm and store our energy until we need it on a rainy day when we got nothing else to eat. Many days, nothing else to eat. So then all of a sudden these fish are consuming their fatty tissue along with all this mercury, and then they're getting a huge dose of mercury, and that can discombobulate them pretty badly.
100%. Great answer. And yes, Corey, you would be 100% correct. And of course, Barry, being up in the Timmins area, knows this all too well, that they use mercury to separate gold from the sand. It is a process that unfortunately is starting to show ramifications that perhaps Because the thing is with mercury poisoning, it's hard to go back, right? Once mercury's in a system, it takes a while for it to.
Not that long. Like it takes 10 years or so for it to drop out. Because it's a metal, right? So it settles down. It settles to the bottom of the lake, and then it gets covered up with sediment. So it's not as bad. It doesn't take as long as we thought it did.
That's
so
good.
normally, when they create a reservoir and then they flood it, and then all that mercury is released from the slash and the of the branches and everything that's left behind when they clear the trees out. There's a big sort of pulse of mercury going in. You can't eat the fish for 10 years, but after 10 years, that starts to settle down again. So, it's not like what we have in Grassy Narrows where you had, a lot of mercury dumped into the river there by the paper mill. Mm-hmm. And that's different. That's different. That's a huge hot spot. That's just constantly radiating out mercury and just leaking out mercury. It hasn't settled down at all. It's been 40 years.
Good point. Last topic.
Last one.
Yep.
Okay. What do you think of when I say Kopi? Kopi.
Cabana? No, I don't know.
It's good. That's a good one, man. Okay, it's the new name for, guess what? It's the new name for Asian carp. They want us to eat, Kopi, C-O-P-I, copious. It's short for copious. There's many of them. So Illinois, they say about 70% of the biomass in Illinois in their rivers, not Michigan, but the rivers is now Asian carp. But no one wants to eat Asian carp, right? It sounds nasty. So they've changed the name to Kopi, and they've got all these chefs on board to come up with recipes. Now, I don't know if you know tilapia, if you'd eaten tilapia. They say this is as mild as tilapia, only more flaky. The flesh is more flaky like a halibut. So it's a better quality food, and it's wild. It's sustainable. It's safe to eat. These fish are not bottom feeders like common carp. Common carp have very dark, oily meat because they're bottom feeders. These filter feeders have very white, clean meat. And it's apparently they're grinding it up and you can flavor it any way you want. You can put it in tacos. You can make fish cakes out of it. There's a lot of recipes being cooked up by all these great chefs. So there you go. Order yourself some Kopi burgers, some Kopi, falafels or whatever. And coming to a restaurant, McDonald's near you, never. Kopi.
But it's interesting because there was a fish. I don't know if it was the lionfish or
lionfish
down in Florida. There was a bit of an epidemic that they were starting to take over, and they're extremely aggressive fish, and of course they're poisonous.
Dangerous, yeah.
They're dangerous as all heck, and they did exactly the same thing for those fish. Is they brought a whole bunch of renowned chefs in, and they prepared them, or at least got them to prepare them for restaurants. Mm-hmm. in such a way that they would be palatable and you'd be able to eat them. Mm-hmm. And some of the recipes that they came up with was just outstanding. And a lot of folks didn't even realize what it was that they were eating. It was just so good. But to try and eradicate their numbers, this is what they did. And obviously they're doing the same thing for.
That's what they hope for. That's what they hope for. They just to drop the numbers, give the native fish a chance to bounce back by harvesting these fish commercially. Now, a name can make a big difference. The orange roughy, like we all see that on menus in restaurants. That the real name of orange roughy is called slimehead. That's what their official name was, and no one wants to eat a fish called slimehead. They don't want to see that on their menu, so they changed it to orange roughy. Orange roughy. Sea bass is Patagonia toothfish. Right? Then they're huge, like big vampire teeth, man. They're nasty looking fish, but you call them sea bass, and all of a sudden they're yummy. That's it for me, buddy.
You can gift wrap a pice of dog poo, but at the end of the day, it's still dog poo.
Put lipstick on a pig, it's still
that's a pig. Good analogy. As always, Lawrence, thanks so much for joining us each and every Monday, and that was a wealth of information. And just to recap. That is fantastic news from our BC coast in regards to those cages. That is a big win. Yes, man. Yes. Yeah. Big applause for the government taking that brave step, because you know what? This is not just against an international company or two, right? Yeah.
there's a lot of First Nations communities that have invested in this technology as well, that are partners in offshore, in these open pen fish farms. It's a way for them to make money in their remote locations. So yeah, they've come out against some First Nations communities that are going to not be happy about this. So
amen.
Yeah.
Right on, Lawrence. You have yourself a great week. Stay classy, my friend. Always
Thanks,
a pleasure
buddy.
to see you.
Yeah,
All the
appreciate
best.
it.
Right on. And Jay Barnucz is coming up next, and we have a contest we're going to be launching. First of its kind right here, right now, during his segment. But before we get to Jay, here's a word from his sponsor.
Want to know the difference between power bait and other soft plastics? Ask the fish. Berkeley scientists have thousands of flavors tested on thousands of fish. Natural, man-made. Every bait that's ever hit the water. No matter the shape, size, or color, power bait is the only one that is scientifically proven. Fish bite and will not let go.
Jay Dog in the house. How you doing tonight, Jay? Oh, I got to unmute your... Yeah, there it is.
There we go.
There you go. Right on. For whatever reason, it's funny, when we play your ad, there's an echo.
Oh.
So I have to shut your mic off just during that ad. But anyway,
I'm just so in tune with Berkeley and their wonderful products that I just echo there.
True enough, my friend. So yes, we are going to be launching a contest, which we're going to get to later in the segment. I think it's going to be really cool, and of course, it's a testament now that the fish off is over. We can hone our skills when it comes to fish IDing.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. But Jay, have you been busy out angling, doing your thing?
You know what? I got kind of a rapid fire segment, kind of like Lawrence just had. I'm going to throw a couple links in the chat, and we'll talk about it, Scottie.
That was awesome. I really like that approach that Lawrence took, and if we can adopt that going forward, but that's an awful lot of work for you lads.
So, you know what? So number one, I just threw a link up in the room. So Scottie, this past weekend was opening day, bass season for Zone 16 and Zone 19, and so to celebrate that for the past, dude, I'm going to get it wrong, but it's been over 50 years. It's been longer than I've been on this planet that they've had an opening day bass derby at a Long Point Bay area. So right now it's hosted at Turkey. It's gone through different iterations, different organizers. But what it is it's basically, I think of it as like a buck and doe idea, where you go to the launch ramp in the morning, you pay $10. If you catch a big fish, you bring your $10 ticket to the weigh-in site with your fish, you weigh it in, and you can win a prize. And the first place bass for smallmouth is $1,000, and the first place for largemouth is $1,000. So this past Saturday was I don't know what year, but we haven't done it for 2 years. So it was like, dude, I haven't been part of an event like this in 2 years. I was so rusty. Like usually I'm organized and I got like a microphone and I got like my markers and I got like a clipboard. Dude, I was a mess Friday night, an absolute mess trying to get ready for this thing. Thank God there's a great team of volunteers. And I want to give a big shout out to the McDonald Turkey Point Marina. If you look through the link I sent, there's some great pictures of the stage and lots of bass that were brought in. Now I'm going to stress this. It's a derby. Not all fish are released alive. Okay. So, but what we've seen over the past, I guess the Erie Bassmasters and Long Point Bay Anglers have been co-hosting this event for about 8 or 9 years now. And I want to say that there's been a real shift. We're not seeing as many coolers coming in, Scottie. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. We're seeing a lot more fish brought in alive. The Long Point Bay Anglers brings their live release boat. And so the fish are weighed alive. Their pictures are taken on stage. And then they're shuttled off to the live release boat. At the end of the day, the boat takes them out. So it's a great day. I want to say probably 200 fish came to the scales. We'll get a final tally. And the tickets are sold all over the county. So at hardware stores, grocery stores, corner stores, gas stations, tackle shops, everyone sells tickets. So we won't know the final number. But every year when we have good weather, which we had amazing weather this year, I couldn't believe it was too nice. too nice for guys like you and me, Scotty. I was sweating in the shade all day. Okay?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It was hot. But I'll tell you, every year we always make we got to put money back into some of our stuff, like maintenance on the scale, the live release boat and stuff. But we're hoping to make a sizable donation to the Norfolk General Hospital Foundation. Locally, with all that's gone on in the world the last 2 years, our healthcare workers have done so much for us, and we want to make a donation to the Norfolk. And we've done donations to community living, food banks, but this year we've chosen the Norfolk General Hospital Foundation. So thanks to everyone who helped us out. Big thanks to McDonald Turkey Point Marina. I gotta throw their link up in the chat, Scotty, because and if you're ever down in Turkey Point, if you ever want to have a nice time on Lake Erie and you don't have to go fishing, come down to the Jetty Bar and Grill. You can sit dockside looking at all the fishing boats coming in and all that. Well, there's some party boats because there's some great swimming spots out in Erie too. It's just a fantastic place to run an event right there on the shoreline of Lake Erie. So big shout out to all those folks there and all the help they gave us. That was Sunday, or sorry, that was Saturday. And that was most of the weekend. Now I got to tell you, selfishly, Scotty, we went out. My friends wanted to put their boat in this week. We put their boat in with them, give them a hand. Some of these bigger, it's a big old Starcraft. Everybody likes to use walleye fishing. Needs a bit of help launching it. We launched it, and he said, we should probably take the boat out fishing. And this was Friday night, and the Derby the next day. I got to get up at 4 a.m. So I said, okay, we'll go out. So I took my buddy Gaze's boat. So Gaze and I, Gaze's son Reese, Trevor, and my buddy Trevor's buddy Owen, and we took those boys out, and it was an absolute yellow perch smash fest.
Wow.
Owen's biggest perch was just shy of 14 inches.
Oof.
And so we caught 40 perch in about 2 hours Friday night. So here we are. We're booking it in at 9 p.m. as literally chasing the sun into the west. Got to the dock, tied up the boat, came home at 10 o'clock, went to bed, up at 4, right back to the lake again. So it was a full couple days, but great. Awesome.
Holy smokes. And who was tasked to fillet all those perch?
Well, I had to say to Geza, Geza, I cannot clean fish tonight, but Geza loves cleaning fish. Geza loves eating fish. He just does. And he actually teaches culinary arts at high school in Brantford. He's a good family friend. And you know what? It was just I know there'll be some perch tacos over his place when I go over there to hang out in the barn and watch a baseball game at some point. So he always takes care of me. I don't skip any meals at Gaze's house. So
good for Gaze. That's awesome.
So well, that was that.
I hate to ask, what else were you doing?
Okay. So what else was I doing? I got to bring up National Fishing Week, Scotty. I've been chatting with the folks over at Keep Canada Fishing. They actually put out some great content, and I'm going to share some of it in the chat. And I'm just going to encourage people to share some of this content to their feeds, and for nothing more than to simply, let's see if I can share there's 2 websites I'm going to post. One is Keep Canada Fishing website. The second one is they do usually a commercial every year to promote National Fishing Week. So I sent a link to the YouTube channel that has that video. Share it, promote it. It's National Fishing Week starting July 2nd. It goes for 10 days. It's across Canada, and everyone just go fishing. You don't need a license. Go fishing. Promote National Fishing Week, and I'd love to see everyone out there fishing as much as they can. And I challenge CFNers to get their friends to go fishing. It's a great time. Even now that we're back at work, we're doing an official back to work the first week of July for our office. And they actually called me to organize a lunchtime fishing derby on the Wednesday. That's never happened before, Scotty. Never happened.
Nice.
Yeah, because I've always been away. They always have a derby here and there, and I've always gone somewhere on my own little tours catching fish for work. And they said, yeah, we know you're in the office on the week of the 4th. you want to run a lunchtime fishing derby on the Wednesday? I'm like, now what do we catch at my office under the Blue Water Bridge, or not Blue Water Bridge? Sorry, the lift bridge.
Lots.
The lift bridge in Burlington. There's so many fish there, but typically you're going to catch a drum, maybe a big common carp. But and I told everyone at work, what's great is anyone can come. So I'm going to load up the van full of rods, and anybody can come by for work. They don't need a license. They can just show up. So that's great. It's great timing. So I'm going to be doing that next week. And this weekend I'm going to Ottawa to visit Heather's cousins. So Trevor and I, we're going to do some shore fishing along the Rideau River in Ottawa, places I haven't been to for a long time. So we're going to get up one morning early and we're going to sneak out in between all the family. Listen, we haven't been to Ottawa to hang out with this side of the family in 2 years. So there'll be lots going on. Fireworks and barbecues and hot tubs and pools and probably a pontoon boat ride by Parliament. That usually happens. But I got to bend a rod too. Trevor's already on it. So we're going to sneak out one morning to go. He wants to catch a muskie in downtown Ottawa, and I know it's possible. So we're going to try. So we'll see.
Right on.
Yeah.
Busy as always, the Barnucz family.
We're trying, man. We're trying.
Yeah, it is. And to echo your sentiments, just get out and fish, folks. At the end of the day, do what provides you peace, furthers your passion, furthers your love for the outdoors. Just get out and fish. Just fish. Just fish. Don't worry about anything else. Just go out and fish, and hopefully things will just find a way of working their
and share your adventures with others, and encourage other people to go fishing, right?
Amen.
So
100%.
Now I got to talk a little business. So Richard Dunlop has been sharing some links to me about different fish diseases, which is really interesting. So this sandy flesh disease, Scottie, we touched on it last show. They don't really know what is causing it, and all it is just it's not a discoloration, but the fillets don't look great. Okay. But surprisingly, it's been around for almost a decade in the Midwest, so Missouri, Kansas, North Dakota, South Dakota, it's been around for a long time. It's just been showing up in the Great Lakes now, apparently. So, and it's not a I hate to use the term, it's not a pandemic of sandy flesh disease and losing all of our walleye, but it's something that's showing up and we need to be aware of. And the other cool link that Richard sent, because I'll give full credit to Richard, is the OFAH put out a great fish disease. I want to call it a flyer. Let me just type it in here. And it actually has some great information about how to share information with OFAH and who to contact if you see some of these different diseases that are mentioned in the flyer. So, this kind of stuff, because fish disease is not my forte. I'm not a fish health specialist. But if I can take a picture on my phone and I can store an email address in my phone and I can email those pictures quick to somebody who would like to see them, I'm going to do that. And I encourage everyone else to do that too. So check the link I just sent. And
for the first time, and this is the one thing that I can honestly say that I could point my finger at and say, this is the beautiful thing about social media and the internet, is that we're able to interact in this way so that folks can become educated. That sandy flesh disease, as Richard said, I knew nothing about it. You right away said that it's obviously somewhere else, or they wouldn't have already named the disease like they have. But some diseases out there we can accept, we can deal with. Some, like the sandy flesh, might make it difficult to consume these fish. We don't know this, and if you don't, like me, you don't know everything. As Jay mentioned, we're not experts when it comes to this, but let's get in touch with those who are. And this kind of content right here, Jay and Richard, I thank you so much for sharing with us so that we become more educated.
Yeah, I agree 100%, because why we're learning more about some of this stuff too, Scottie, is just plain social media. So there's more people out there looking at stuff, taking pictures of things, and that's why we're learning about these things. Now, are some of these things necessarily that harmful? Probably not. But you know what? It's still important to learn and document where these things happen. So, yeah, I think it's great that we have these tools from some of these agencies that we can share information with and help agencies. We are the feet on the ground, right? Or in this case, boats on the water, right? Yeah. So they can't be everywhere. We know that. So let's give them a bit of a hand if we can.
100%. Well said, my friend. Well, I don't want to say what's next because I'm almost amazed at what you've shared so far. But I do know.
Well, so Scottie, we've been talking about doing this for a while. So we're gonna do 6 weeks. So assuming I'm here for the next 6 Mondays, but the next 6 shows that I'm on, okay, we're gonna put up a picture of a fish at the end of my segment. And those who identify that fish can put their name, put the proper name of the fish in the comments. And then we're going to track all the proper comments because I'll go back after the show is aired and I'll go through it and we'll make a list of names. Okay. After 6 weeks, 6 different species, and then I'm not going to be easy on anybody. Okay. We're going to put those onto one of our magic CFN wheels. Okay. And I know I've already showed this before, but I got another one of these. I got another copy of Freshwater Fishes of Ontario. And for the record, most fish in Canada are in this book because Ontario has the most diversity. This will be the prize. This will be the prize for the winner. So you want to put up our
also include, because I want to put more of this in the hands of our CFN community.
Perfect.
We will add some bait fuel along with that.
Perfect. So let's put up our fish. Now, we're not going to say what it is, right? But we might talk about it next week is what we'll probably do. We have to give the answer at some point.
Now David and Alicia are asking, you want the full scientific Latin name, or is it just the generic name as we use?
Okay, so I will take the common name, but if you want to give scientific name, so in Fish ID teaching, I will warn you, this is where you lose marks. If you try to get it right by going full scientific name and you misspell it, you may not get full marks. That's how we teach it. Okay. So don't jump into it and say that's, let's say, for example, I won't use this fish this year, but I've had students who will come in and say, I'll put a picture of a mad tom. Okay. A mad tom, a catfish. And they'll look at it and they'll say, well, that's a brindled mad tom. I'll be like, are you sure? And they'll say, yes. And they put brindled mad tom. Well, they get, and it's usually out of 2 marks, they get 0. If they would have said just mad tom, question mark, I'd have given them part mark, 1 mark. But it was a northern mad tom, not a brindled mad tom. And that's the example that I'll use. And I've done that with lots of people, and I'm real mean that way. So we're going to be nice. I will take common names. If you want to use scientific name, even if you spell it wrong, I'll give you a mark. Okay. I know Alicia is up for the challenge. I can almost sense her going, come on, bring it, Barnucz, bring on you.
Well, this week we're starting easy. We're hitting the ground very slowly. We're not hitting the ground running. This is a very common fish, one that we see a lot on our CFN community.
Yeah.
We don't normally see them this big, but as I said, Trevor is quite the angler, and I will share it now so that everyone has a chance to look at it. Thanks so much, Trevor, for sharing this with us. But this is common to most rivers, I would say, in the Ontario area.
This fish is common across southern Ontario. So, and you'll see, I mean, all of southern Ontario, like basically from the Ottawa Valley all the way around Lake Ontario, Lake Erie, Lake St. Clair, and tributaries. And I've actually seen them as far up as the Sauble River. So, picture from Ottawa around to the Sauble River. I've seen them all through those places, and they look like they have a lot of cousins that look very similar to this one. So
now, is this fish also caught out west? Because I swear I've seen pictures of this fish.
So I'm going to say this fish is not caught in Western Canada, but its cousins are caught in Western Canada.
Wow. Well, Jay, I don't want to hurry or leave you on a quick note like this, but as I said, I do wish you a great week, and thank you so much, as you do every Monday, sharing a whole wealth of information and just being you, my brother. I truly appreciate it. But on that note, let us share Trevor's fish. Everyone take a good look at that. If you know, great. Don't put it in the comments unless you know. And as Jay has mentioned, if you try to use the Latin name, make sure you put the right one and do your best at spelling. But by all means, fire away in the comments. We look forward to seeing who gets it right and how many folks get added to the wheel. And that's a unique fish. You don't usually see them that big. That's awesome. So Trevor, thanks so much, my friend. Great catch and a great share. Awesome. Jay, thanks, Scottie. Thanks again, buddy. Really appreciate it. You have yourself a great week.
Thanks, everyone. And listen, happy Canada Day.
Amen.
All right. See you guys.
All the best. As always, thanks to everyone for joining us tonight. Love you all. Love our community and what it does to further the passion when it comes to Canadian fishing. Again, I will quickly show the picture again. That is the ID contest fish that we're using for this week. We're going to be doing this for the next 6 weeks. If you know what that fish is, post the answer in the comments, and hopefully you get added to the wheel next Monday. And we are going to be giving away a great prize offered up by Jay Barnucz. And of course, I can't get enough of this in the hands of our community. This stuff works, and I'm hoping to have all of you see just how well. In the meantime, stay classy. And I would say at this point, it is time for our good buddy, Dave Mercer, to take us out. And I'm just looking for the video. There we go. Enjoy your week. All the best.
Well, as much as I hate to admit it, I guess we've run out of time. So I've enjoyed it, but I'm going to do something I haven't done since season 1. Turn out the lights, the party's over. They say that all good things must end.